Shout out to Cam Cam. Chris Moore, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. While y'all was sitting there watching the Lions beat up on the Falcons, watching the Bears get dog walked by Kansas City, running up the numbers, no sportsmanship anymore. I love it. I like it that way. I like it that way. While Super Bowl Sunday and Colorado and Oregon and all of the college places was out and about, over the last several months, every single time, every single year, we have this same conversation over and over, over and over, over and over. And you see the same talking points. Oh, the Democrats, they want to keep social services and they don't want to turn off the faucet. And the Republicans, they are being irresponsible and we need to get this done and work across both sides of the aisle. How many times are y'all going to fall for the okie doke, the ooh-wop shebang? Just curious. Did you know that it's another, people are so used to government shutdowns and for them to every single year going through a government shutdown that we don't even look surprised no more. Do y'all know that we have been PTSD'd into being cool with the idea that there's going to be another government shutdown? Like, we don't even trip about it. Government shutdown. We don't need no military. Throw away the key. Lock us up. Our correction officers don't necessarily need any kind of pay for their services. Government workers, contractors, don't worry about it. Military members, no worries. Every single year we go through the same and the same and the same and the same thing. Congress, legislators, state representatives, budgets, budget shutdown. We don't even care no more. Lock us up, throw away the key.
You're looking at a live U.S. Capitol pic as the U.S. government teeters on the brink of a shutdown this week. Congress remains at an impasse on a funding deal with just 6 days to go. As Rob Kirkpatrick explains, federal departments and agencies have begun the mandatory process of bringing non-essential functions to a halt.
The clock is ticking on Congress to pass a deal that will fund the government. But with less than a week to go, there's still no deal in sight to avert a shutdown. During a call with the Republican conference Saturday afternoon, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy pushed members to rally behind a short-term spending bill.
I think we've made some progress to those who have been holding up passing the rule to get onto these bills.
President Joe Biden weighed in on the quickly approaching shutdown deadline over the weekend, calling on...
Let me guess what he's going to say. Something along the lines of, we need to get Republicans to come back to the table in order to make sure that we get this spending bill for the American people. We need to be responsible. Let's find out.
House Republicans to, quote, start doing the job.
Funding the government is one of those basic responsibilities of Congress. And it's time for Republicans to start doing.
What did he just say? Hey, man, somebody get these geezers out of office, man. They don't even know how to communicate effectively. Hey, man, I don't want nobody in office that's slurring their words, bro. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Who we got running the government out here in these streets, man? What you doing in there, man? Stop it, man. Hold on. Let me rewind this. I wasn't expecting that.
Congress. And it's time for Republicans to...
What is Republicans? Who the hell is Republicans? Who is Republicans? Y'all know him? I ain't never heard of who is Republicans. Who is Republicans? Who is Theophilus? Is that what he said? It's time for Theophilus. Who the hell is that? What is going on in our Hold on.
The weekend, calling on House Republicans to, quote, start doing the job.
Funding the government is one of those basic...
Do he got teeth? Is Biden's TV is? Yeah. Ah. Front of the government. Front of the government. Who the hell is Theophilus?
Funding the government is one of those basic responsibilities of Congress. And it's time for Republicans.
Who is Theophilus? Am I the only person? Richard said, you don't know who Theophilus is? Biden apparently know. I don't know who Theophilus is. Let's not focus on the messenger. Let's focus on what he's communicating from the teleprompter. Let's not focus on the messenger. Let's focus on what he's communicating from what was written for him on the teleprompter. Okay, family? Let's focus, y'all.
Basic responsibilities of Congress. And it's time for Republicans to start doing the job America elected them to do.
Should Congress fail to pass
Did he not say what I said? It was around that. I was a little off. But he pretty much said what it is that I said that he was going to say.
a short-term spending bill to keep the proverbial lights on, a shutdown could have enormous impacts on all Americans, which both sides agree would be harmful.
We're going to make sure that we can get a vote done, and that means getting the support of both sides to the table. We're going to do what.
Yo, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. All of these guys, the Democrats, the Republicans, they all sound just like Manchurian candidates. They all sound just like the Manchurian candidate. They look the same. They wear the same haircuts. They wear the same shirts, the same ties. They all go to the same cafes over in Washington, D.C. They all rich. They all have grandkids that's going to inherit an incredible amount of wealth. They all have some kind of incentive in order to continue to do the thing that's in their own best interest. And they're all going to continue to get reelected into the same office over and over again by the people that keep voting for them every single election cycle. They all look the same. Listen, they all say the same thing. They all look the same.
We're going to make sure that we can get a vote done, and that means getting the support of both sides to the table.
We're going to do whatever we need to do our job to keep the government open, because our district, and Josh's as well, our district wants us to keep America running.
But that path has proved difficult. A number of GOP hardliners are opposed to any short-term spending solution. Their Republican colleagues drawing a line, calling out those responsible for the failed negotiations.
The arsonists have lit their house on fire. They're whining about their house burning. They're going to want credit for putting the fire out, and then they're going to set up a GoFundMe to get paid for what happened.
That is probably the most sensible thing that I've heard any legislator say, and he don't have on a stupid suit and tie. Let's break that down one more time, because I wasn't expecting for that to happen. I was expecting to hear some guy with decent hair and a suit and tie on say something like, we need to get it done because the constituents need their paychecks. That was the most sensible thing that I've heard anybody say, and I've never even seen that guy before a day in my life.
Negotiations.
The arsonists have lit their house on fire. They're whining about their house burning. They're going to want credit for putting the fire out, and then they're going to set up a GoFundMe to get paid.
That sounds like modern women. That literally sounds like modern women. You set your house on fire. Then you're going to complain about your house being on fire. Then you're going to want credit for it being put out by somebody else. And then you're going to set up a GoFundMe in order for people to continue to fix it. Oh, my God. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? I need to know who this guy is. Garrett Graves, Republican in Louisiana. Somebody get this guy on my radar. I need to see some videos from him so we can review him and see if he's making sense or if he's saying something else that's going to tickle our ears and have us vote in a certain type of way in order to continue to go down the same path. I'm taking that. I guarantee you on a live stream tonight, I'm going to say it. Hey, you know what? I'm so tired of these women. You know what y'all like to do? You think that you could just light your house on fire. And then you want to come over to us black men and complaining that your house is on fire. And then when we put it out, you're going to want credit for participating and tapping us on the back and making sure that we put your house out on fire. And then you're going to set up a GoFundMe on top of the insurance in order to make sure that these black men continue to throw themselves under a bus in order to make sure that you take care of. Tell me that I'm going to refine it. I'm going to refine it. By the time I get on the show tonight, it's going to be a completely different speech. I promise you. It's going to be fire, though. It's going to be fire, though. Listen, this dude just threw me an alley-oop pass like I've never seen before. Through the legs, behind the back, Magic Johnson. And then we going to get Michael Jordan to come over here and dunk it. Oh, my God. Make sure y'all tune into the live stream tonight. But let's go back into this because I want y'all to really understand what a government shutdown means, okay?
The threat of a government shutdown may sound so routine, it's easy to forget what that actually involves. Here's a refresher. First off, Congress needs to pass 12 appropriation bills annually to give government agencies a budget for the coming fiscal year.
So, let's break this down. Let's look at exactly what it is that they need to focus on from a budgetary perspective. Because even though we're entertaining, we want this to be educational, and we all know that it comes back down to the money. All right? So, energy, agriculture. Okay, pretty straightforward. Legislative branch. They got to get paid. They got to make sure that they keep things running. They want to have all of their assistants and all of their people. You know what I'm saying? Commerce, defense. Defense is one of the biggest things. Biggest things. It's a part of the biggest part of the budget. Defense means your military, right? All of the Secret Service agents, the whole thing, right? General government finance, Homeland Security. Remember when Homeland Security used to just be a talking point after 9/11? Now Homeland Security is a whole nother part of the budget that we got to make sure that we spend billions and trillions of dollars on every single year. I ain't going to talk about it. Labor, health, education, and human services. That's government handouts. EBT, right? You got to make sure that you get your public housing, Section 8. You got to get these women their stuff, public transportation, health care that we know that you're going to go to the doctor and not going to pay your bills for. All of that stuff, right? Military construction and veteran affairs, transport and housing. Pretty straightforward. State Department. Now, I don't understand why State Department and legislative branch is not the same thing. And then interior. Let's continue.
If some of those bills pass, but others don't, by the deadline, the government enters a partial shutdown. If all 12 appropriations bills aren't passed, the country goes into a full shutdown. And with any shutdown, expect disruptions. Federal workers are furloughed. Congress members, the president, and Supreme Court justices will continue to receive a paycheck, but many of their staff members will report to work without pay.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So the people at the top of the food chain, judges, all of these people, you're going to get your pay on time. Everybody else, you're going to get laid off. Some people, they're going to be doing the job, and then they just going to be like, listen, once we get that government spending bill passed, we're going to get you on the back end, big dog. And so they're going to make sure that they get them on back pay and then refund them whatever it is that they were supposed to be funding while they was over there needing that bread and that cheese in order to feed their families. So I'm breaking it down from you from a simple perspective.
Medicare,
right?
Medicaid, Social Security, and SNAP benefits continue, but paperwork and applications to receive services are stalled.
So that means you still gonna get your EBTs, man. Even though we ain't got no money, even though we don't know where it's gonna come from, even though we don't know what the budget is, even though we still at the negotiating table, we got to get her EBT so she can come out here and sell it for half the price. Hey, listen, I'll give you $300 worth of groceries for $150. When you see that twinkle in her eye, and you know she a little bit more desperate than usual, nah, fam, I only got 100. I could probably call my cousin and get $15 more. I'll give you $115, but if you got it, I need my $300 right now. And she gonna be like, she gonna be feeling certain. Listen, I'm from the hood. I know how it work. I could get you $300 worth of groceries for $150. Man, I only got $100. I could probably scrape up $115. Man, I'm not about to be bothered because I don't need this anyway. I'm straight. I wasn't even coming over here to get no groceries in the first place. Okay. Now I don't even want it no more. This is how you play it. No, I'm straight, man, because I don't even want it no more. Like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I really don't even have time to be playing this. You gonna do me like that? You're gonna have to come out of something a little more than that, though, for real, because I know you in the bind. I'm in the bind, Nate. I tell you what, I give you $150. Come out of the house a little later on today. Come out of the crib, man. I give you 100 now, I give you the other 50 when you come back by the crib. Cool? No, don't bring your boyfriend with you and keep them little kids, drop them little kids over at grandma's house. Cool? That's how they do y'all. That's how they do y'all. No, you not out there spending your government benefits over here in order to get some food, in order to feed little man and Ray over them so that they can grow up nice and healthy and strong and be over here stealing our hubcaps. You're not over there spending money to make sure that they nourished and that they're not in school when they stomachs is not going. Teacher over there can't even teach because, you look up, every time you look up, he tired because his stomach keep growling because you sold all of the benefits over into Nate because Nate recognized you was in the bind and he knew that you was going to be standing out there, so he just so happened to drive up in his Cadillac. What's going on? Hey, man, I'll see y'all later. I'm out of here. Hey, Nate, you want $300 worth of groceries? Man, I don't even need no groceries. What you talking about? I'm a single man. I don't even need no groceries. I give you $150. Nah, fam, I'm good. Next thing you know, you got to go by the house a little later on that day, drop little man off at grandma's house. Man know where you going, and he going to grow up scarred. Don't get mad at me. I'm telling you what happens in the hood every single day. I'm telling you what happens every pay period. Government shutdown. Y'all trying to mess up the benefits, man. You messing up the benefits. You messing up the play. That's why Nate is over here watching the government shutdown. You think he care? He ain't even got no government job. He ain't thinking about that. He trying to figure out when her government food stamps is coming, so he can negotiate a little bit harder. Now I know you in the bind, and you on an advance. Shh. Let's continue to figure out what's happening in the. I'm a C student. I know that y'all want me to sit here and break down the government shutdown off of the technical aspect of it and. Oh no, and government services and the military members and all of these people and the workers. No, I'm going to tell you what's really happening in the streets, man. I'm going to tell you what's happening in the streets, man. When the government is shut down, everybody suffer. Nate suffer. She suffers. If you want to end hunger, then solve and pass the budget. Pass the budget so that they can go and get their food. Now she's selling it at an extreme discount. Now y'all fasting. And it ain't even intermittent fasting. You fasting because you ain't.
Passport processing, food inspection programs, and small business loans also see delays. And travel can be affected. National park visitor centers close and the grounds may operate without staff. And in 2019, airports experienced slowdowns as hundreds of TSA and air traffic control workers called off after weeks of not being paid.
Now it affects your travel. Now it affects your food inspections. Small business loans, SBAs is being delayed. Everybody gets affected because the very people that you elected to do their job has been unable. They started negotiating at the end of the time. Now they wait all the way over to the deadline. And the people are the ones that suffer as a result of it. But I guarantee you that they still going to get their paychecks.
Paid. Shutdowns can have large-scale ripple effects depending on how long they last. During the 35-day shutdown in 2019, America's GDP took a hit. Experts warn that a shutdown now could be especially harmful given the timing.
One thing to keep in mind is that this isn't happening in a vacuum. It happens when we have a spreading strike of UAW workers, and we have a lot of people who are being asked to start paying student loans who have been able to go without paying student loans.
So basically what he's telling you from a C student's perspective, let me break it down for you. He's breaking it down to you from this perspective, okay? It's all strategic. Student loans are starting back up. UAW is striking. People and inflation is at an all-time high. Immigration is coming into the country. Border Patrol agents, we need more and more than ever. Tent city, government services, contractors, everybody is at risk as long as you continue to stick around at the negotiating table and not come to a conclusion that is in the best interest of the people. And so they use you as a bargaining chip in order to get more on their side, and they're willing to let the government shut down in the same way that they're willing to let UAW members strike when they don't feel like they have a deal. You're nothing more than a bargaining chip. You're nothing more. You, because they're not going to stop taking taxes out of your paycheck. See, the government don't shut down when it comes to collect. It only shut down when it's time to distribute. The government don't shut down when it's time to collect. It only shuts down when it's time to distribute. You are nothing more than a bargaining chip. When you pick who it is that you're going to have coming into these legislative branches, essentially you're picking who's going to be the person that's going to use you as a bargaining chip and how much a value is really worth to them.
For some time. So we could be hitting the economy with three things, none of which is really bad, but three things put together could begin to have a punch.
Let me read some of these super chats. There's no need in beating a dead horse. I'm pretty sure that y'all got it. Y'all got it.